Welcome. I want you to imagine standing on the shoreline watching a massive, powerful wave heading straight towards you. How much energy would it take to stand there, brace your arms tight against the tide, and scream at the ocean, "You shouldn't be here right now. I requested a calm sea today." I mean, it sounds absurd when we picture it as us standing before an ocean, and yet every single day, most of us exhaust our time, our precious resources of mental clarity and emotional bandwidth doing the exact same psychological equivalent. We stand in the middle of our lives, staring at our difficult circumstances, and we scream into the wind things like, "This shouldn't have happened," or "They shouldn't have said that," or "I wish I didn't feel this anxiety," or "If only my life looked like fill in the blank, then I could finally start living." We spend large amounts of energy fighting the reality of what is, trapped in the land of if only. And here's the quiet, sobering truth. So much of our human suffering doesn't come from the difficult event itself, but from the ferocious resistance to it. In acceptance and commitment therapy, we make a vital distinction between pain and suffering. Pain is a clean, direct, and inevitable. It's grief that comes with loss. It's the sting of disappointment, and it's the ache of physical limitation. Pain is just a natural part of being a living, breathing human being in an unpredictable world. Suffering, on the other hand, is dirty fuel. Suffering is pain plus resistance. It's the endless mental war that we wage against reality because reality doesn't follow our script. So today I want to invite you to lay down your arms in that war. I mean, I'm not talking about surrendering in defeat, but to pivot to something infinitely more powerful, the adventure of navigating what is. In psychology, there's a concept we call creative hopelessness. It sounds dark at first glance, doesn't it? But it's actually one of the most liberating places a person can land. Creative hopelessness asks a very simple question. How has fighting reality been working for you? When you spend your commute spiraling over a decision made 3 years ago, does it change the past? When you lie awake at 2 a.m. wishing a loved one were different, does your wishing alter their character? Of course not. The strategy of wishing things were different has a 0% success rate. Picture yourself in a tug of war with a giant monster called unwanted circumstance. Between you and the monster is a pit of quicksand. The monster pulls hard on the rope. You pull back with everything you've got, sweating, straining, shouting. You think, if I just pull hard enough, I'll drag this thing into the pit. Days go by, months, years. You're exhausted. Your hands are raw, and your whole world is shrunk down to the thickness of that rope. So, what is the alternative? Drop the rope. Dropping the rope doesn't mean the monster vanishes. The monster is still standing on the other side of the pit. But now your hands are free. Now you can turn around, look at the wide, beautiful world behind you, and start walking toward what actually matters. Now, when we talk about acceptance, our minds often rebel. We fuse with this idea that accepting something means liking it, approving of it, or resigning ourselves to defeat. Let's clear that up right now. Acceptance is not approval. Acceptance is simply willing contact with reality. It's taking off the rose-colored glasses, taking off the doom and gloom glasses, and putting on the clear lens of what is actually here right now. Imagine an explorer lost in the wilderness with a map. If the explorer looks at the compass and sees that they are in a muddy swamp, but they stomp their feet and insist, "No, I plan to be on the sunny meadow today. The map becomes useless. They can only navigate out of the swamp if they first acknowledge, okay, my boots are in the mud. This is the terrain that I am on today. When you accept the present moment, you aren't saying, I love this pain. No, you're saying, this is the terrain I am currently standing on. Now, how do I want to move across it? Acceptance is the ultimate act of courage because it frees up every single drop of your intelligence, creativity, and energy. Instead of burning energy wishing that the storm would stop, you use that energy to build a shelter, light a fire, or learn to navigate by the stars. What if we reframed our daily lives entirely? What if every unexpected plot twist, every difficult emotion, every ruined plan wasn't an unwanted interruption to your life, but was in fact life itself inviting you into an adventure? Think about any great story ever written. No one buys a ticket to a movie where the main character wakes up, drinks coffee, everything goes perfectly according to plan for 2 hours, and then they go to bed. That's not a story. That's a spreadsheet. The adventure begins precisely at the point of a plot twist. The adventure begins when the dragon shows up, when the storm hits, when the road washes out. Now, let's be clear. An adventure is not always pleasant. Adventures involve fatigue. They involve mud, uncertainty, fear, and navigating through dark woods. But adventures are alive. They demand your presence. They ask you to step up, pull from your values, and discover capacities inside yourself that you never even knew existed. When you drop the demand for your life to be easy, you open yourself up to the reality of a life that is really an invitation to grow. An uncomfortable conversation becomes an invitation to practice courage and honesty. A painful boundary or a loss becomes an invitation to practice self-compassion and deep grounding. A season of waiting or uncertainty becomes an invitation to practice flexibility and trust. You don't get to choose the weather on this adventure. There are 1,000 variables, other people's choices, health shifts, economic turns, and these variables lie completely outside of your direct control. You do not control the ocean, but you are the captain of how you hold the wheel. In ACT, we talk about committed action, taking effective, values-guided steps, even when carrying discomfort. You don't need a guarantee of how things will turn out to take the next step. In fact, waiting for a guarantee is just another form of resisting reality. You will never have a 100% guarantee, but you can have clarity on who you want to be right now in this exact moment. So ask yourself, given that this situation is what it is, given that these feelings are currently here, how do I want to show up? What would a wise, compassionate, and brave captain do with this ship in this weather right now? When you shift from wishing to navigating, your life opens wide. You stop waiting for someday when things settle down to start living. You realize that this messy, imperfect, unpredictable present moment is the only moment where your life actually happens. As you step back into your day, remember this. You do not have to like what is happening to accept that it is happening. You do not have to feel calm to act with wisdom. And you do not have to wait for the storm to clear to start living a rich, meaningful life. Stop fighting the waves. Drop the rope in the tug of war with what should be. Look around at the terrain beneath your feet right now. It may not be the terrain that you asked for. It may be steep, rocky, or unfamiliar, but it's real, and it's yours, and it is full of possibilities. Take a deep breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Welcome the invitation. The adventure of your life is taking place right here, right now, and you are fully equipped to navigate it.